Hi, Year 2, it's Mrs. Flanagan. So, our science topic this term is living things and their habitats. So, today's learning point is, can we sort things into alive, not alive now, and never having been alive? So let's just think about the characteristics of living things. What makes a living thing? So as you can see here, I've got a lady here and she's called Mrs. Nerg. That's a very funny name. But if you look at the green letters down the left-hand side, you can see her name written there, Mrs. Nerg. Each of the letters represents the start of a word that describes something that a living thing has. So M is for movement. Living things move. They run or crawl or jump or slither, or they may just turn towards the light if they're a plant. Respiration is when the body or the living thing uses food and gases to get energy. Sensitivity is all about our senses. So as people, we're able to touch things and feel, we're able to see things, we're able to hear things, we're able to taste things. And so it is with many living things. They are sensitive in some way. Nutrition is all about food and using food to give the living thing energy to grow and keep healthy. Excretion is all about getting rid of the bad things in the living thing. So for us, that means pooing and breathing out gases that our body doesn't want to use. And that's the same for all living things. They have to get rid of gases and things they don't want anymore to keep them healthy. Reproduction is when living things make babies. And growth is when the living thing grows and gets bigger. So, how do we know things are alive and therefore living things? Now, I'm just going to read out some questions, and if the answer is yes to these questions, then the thing is a living thing. It's alive now. Do they move? Are they sensitive? Do they eat or use food to give them energy to grow and keep healthy? Do they make babies? And do they grow? If the answer is yes to those questions, then the living thing, or the thing you're looking at, is living. It is alive now. So another question. Are these things alive, living? Not alive now, that means they were alive once, but now they're not alive. Or never having been alive. In other words, they were never alive and never are going to be alive. So let's look at the pictures. We've got an elephant, we've got a tree, we've got a doll, a cat, a girl, a rubber duck, grass, wood, but not part of a tree anymore. We've got a book. Now remember, little clue here, a book is made with paper, and if you remember in our materials topic, we talked about paper having been made from wood, which is from trees. Bit of a clue there. We've got some wooden furniture. We've got some grass and some leaves on a tree. We've also got a leaf that is no longer part of a tree or a bush or a plant. We've got a lorry. That could be a toy lorry or a lorry that you see on the road. And we've got some flowers growing on a plant. Now, I wonder, thinking about those questions that we just talked about, I wonder which ones you think are alive and living, which ones are not alive now. They were alive once, but they're not alive anymore. And which ones do you think never have been alive and never will be? So I'm just going to give you a few minutes, if you pause this video, to have a think about which ones go in which group. Okay, I wonder which ones you thought were alive. Well, the pictures that should be in the alive column or group is the tree, because it uses water from the ground to help it to grow, and it moves in the wind, but it also moves towards the light. It likes to move towards the sun. It makes babies by making seeds in its flowers, which then drop to the ground and grow new plants the following year. So that's why trees and plants are alive. We've got a little girl there, obviously. We can answer yes to all the questions that we ask. She moves, she eats food, which gives her energy. When she grows up to be a lady, she might have children, so that's being able to reproduce. Obviously, we know that, like us, she'll go to the toilet to get rid of all the bad things in her body that the body doesn't want to have in its body anymore. We've got a cat there, lovely cute cat. We know the cat moves, the cat eats food to give it energy and to help it to grow. We know cats have kittens, so they make babies. And then there's an elephant, which is the same. And plants, some lovely flowers there. And a leaf that's part of a tree is alive at the moment. We'll come back to talking about plants in a minute, because they're a bit more tricky, aren't they, to know whether they're alive or not. So what are the things that were alive but not alive now? Well, there's a bit of wood there. That would have been part of a tree once. And obviously it died, it got chopped up. And there is a part of the wood, part of a branch probably. Then there's the book that I've already mentioned. The pages are made from paper. Paper is made from wood in a factory. So I guess once it was alive, but not alive now, of course. Then there's furniture, wooden furniture, which, again, that wood would have come from trees, which would have been alive once. And that leaf on its own, it's no longer part of a plant or a tree. It would have been alive when it was part of the tree or the plant, but now it's a leaf on its own. It's not alive anymore because it will be dying. And then we've got the last section, which has never been alive. These are things that are made by people in factories. And they're, in this case, the rubber duck and the doll are plastic and made from fabric, the clothes on the doll. They're made in factories. They've never been alive. And also we've got the lorry there, that's made in factories by people. Never would have been alive. So how do we know plants and trees are alive and therefore living things? They're a bit more difficult, aren't they? They don't run around or jump or slither like animals do, but they do move. They move towards the light. They grow towards the sunlight because they use the sunlight to help them, give them energy and to make food. But that's something you'll learn about when you're much older in your science lessons. Are they sensitive? Yes, I think they are. They're sensitive towards the light. Some flowers open up in sunlight and close in the dark. So they are sensitive. Do they eat or use food to give them energy to grow and keep healthy? Well, they certainly like water to grow, don't they? If you don't water a plant, it will die. So it does use water in the soil to help it make its own food. Do they make baby plants? Well, I mentioned earlier that plants make flowers, and the flowers, as they're dying down, they create seeds. And some of those seeds are in fruit, and some of them are just in seed pods. If those seeds are planted in the ground, they will grow the following year to create a plant. Some seeds grow a lot quicker than that. They grow in a matter of weeks, and they will create baby plants. Do they grow? Yes, of course, plants do grow, don't they? Also, when they're at the end of their life, they die, just like people and animals do. Now, if you watch the 2 clips posted in the description under this video on the YouTube channel, that it will really help you understand why plants are living things. So what is our task? In your line book or on a plain sheet of paper, I'd like you to split your page into 3 columns, just like these 3 columns I'm showing you now. I'd like you to write alive, not alive now, and never been alive at the top of each column. Then I'd like you to draw some pictures of things that should be in each column. You can use the pictures on my chart to help you, but I'd like you to add some of your own. Have fun. What I've done year 2 is that I've split my page into 3 columns and entitled the columns alive, not alive now, and never been alive. So what I want you to do is to draw some pictures into each of the columns. So if I was drawing some pictures into the alive column, I might draw a tree. I'm going to just do really, really quick drawings so you get the idea. So there's my tree. So you can see now that I've carried on drawing, and I've now got a cat. They're both alive, and I would carry on and draw some more, and that's what I'd like you to do. In the not alive now column, I've drawn a book, and what I want you to do is carry on and draw more pictures down that column. And in the never been alive column, I've drawn a car, a bit like the lorry that we saw in the Smart Notebook. And what I want you to do is draw some more pictures and carry on there. Have fun drawing your pictures and see you soon. Bye.